Welcome, His Excellency and dear Bilkent community, instructors and students. We are happy to have His Excellency Mr. Gustavo Campos Falos this evening, the Ambassador of Costa Rica in the Republic of Turkey. Actually, this is the second time at Bilkent we have Mr. Ambassador. He was one of our speakers at our 10th Bilkent Tourism Forum as well. The topic of this evening, as you might heard the beginning of that, tourism and sustainability, the case of Costa Rica. Before His Excellency starts his presentation, I will just underline a few of his great achievements. He has developed a specialized profile in international law, diplomacy, and international relations. The combination of his extensive experience in multilateral as well as bilateral matters, together with his professional and academic training, allowed Mr. Falas to develop a wide spectrum in legal negotiation and logic, especially in matters of diplomatic and legal complexity. Mr. Falas has also been the delegate of Costa Rica to many international organizations and held positions in internal services, to name a few tonight: the 6th Mediation Conference of Istanbul 2019, coordination and moderator of the Open Panel and Round Table, the interrelationship between the right to peace and the responsibility to protect, the path to peace, justice, and strong institutions, with the participation of the United Nations accredited agencies in Ankara 2019, coordinator of strategic planning of foreign policy, responsible for the project of foreign policy management system for the design and development of prospective scenarios of foreign policy 2007 and 2018. To name a few again, he is a professor of diplomacy of the master's program in the National University of Costa Rica, and also he is a professor of public international law, diplomatic and consular law of the National Autonomous University, School of International Relations. His Excellency speaks Spanish, English, Dutch, and French. And let's listen to his presentation. Thank you for coming here, His Excellency. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's an honor. It's an honor for me. I will then to project our video about the country brand that we call Essential Costa Rica.
Someone defines themselves when they reconnect with their spirit, their true essence, the nature that shapes who you are. Who am I? I am an alluring concentration of beauty, rainforests, beaches, and biodiversity. I live in the heart of the Americas, guarded by 2 seas. I am the deep green that entices those seeking relaxation and adventure. I am so much more. In my essence live the warmth and authenticity of my people. People with open arms who look forward towards the future and welcome opportunities. I am a unique, happy, and caring nation that expresses itself through the diversity of its cultures. I am cradle of human talent, proud people who embrace challenges. I am a nation governed in peace with a solid, long-standing democracy. I stand behind health, education, and the pursuit of self-development as the cornerstones of happiness. In my essence lie the preservation and care for the environment, a model to the world. I breathe the riches of my land, and I recognize the weight of my people, ever capable of giving more than expected. I am a trustworthy and reliable nation, distinguished by the value of what I create. Human development, innovation, and a proven international competitiveness set me apart and enable me to export quality to the world. Those who come to know me are surprised, amazed. My greatest aspirations can be found in my concentrated essence. I am a country that attracts those who seek the value of excellence and the commitment to sustainability. I have much to offer those wishing to purchase, invest, produce, and develop. I have the required human and technological capabilities to achieve this. I rediscover myself by searching within. I find myself in what is vital, in what is true. I rediscover what is important. I am green. I am happiness. I am solidarity. I am talent. I am innovation. I am quality. I am diversity. I am concentration. I am essential Costa Rica.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, to start, let me just give an idea where Costa Rica is situated in the Western Hemisphere. Costa Rica is just in the middle of the Americas, as this little tiny orange country you can see there. And this we have a connection with North America, with Canada and United States and Mexico in this area. There's Caribbean countries, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Haiti, and other islands. We have Panama Canal here, and South America, Brazil and Chile and Peru in this area, Colombia in here. So as you see, Costa Rica has a privileged situation because for our industries and not industry, but our technology to be part of the big markets as the United States and Canada and Mexico, which Costa Rica have a free trade agreement. We can be in, let's say, in Silicon Valley in 2-3 hours flying, and also can visit places like in New York or Boston in this area, and also in the same amount of hours flying. Of course, our tourism normally comes more from this area, from United States, Canada, and also from Europe as the main visitors to Costa Rica. In this opportunity, I would like to stress 10 points. I will try to make it briefly in order to make it not too heavy for you. And this is the table of contents. First, a little introduction to Costa Rica, and also how we develop the foreign and internal affairs as a holistic policy. In some cases that can demonstrate how we can connect our inner policy with foreign policy, and also all the details that our policies are connected. Sustainability as a transversal concept, which is important to just mention how we conceive in the formula of sustainability. And some national parks and carbon mitigation, and how Costa Rica has been developed its program in sustainability applied to tourist sector. Also, another overview, point 5 and 6, we will see our model, how historical background on our tourism model, but also how it will going to evaluate and consolidation during the years. We started with the idea to promote our ecotourism in the 70s and 80s. So we have a long distance already walked, but there is many things still on our project. Then a very important tool, which is CSTC, which is Certificate of Sustainable Tourism. We consider one of the most important tools Costa Rica has, and those want to share with Costa Rica this system. We will be more than happy to share our ideas and our experience in that regard. Some achievements, and finally some considerations and projects and cooperation we can share. Let's start to call this presentation as a tourism model, but it was oriented in foreign policy and inner policy. Briefly, Costa Rica overview is well, it's a natural and biological corridor between North America and South America. Costa Rica is not only on land important, it's also the oceans around. Costa Rica has two oceans, Pacific and Atlantic, which is one of the biggest diversity in the world. Also the Cocos Island, which is an island which is neighboring and boundaries with Galapagos Island in Ecuador, also one of the most let's say, wonderful places in the world about the ecotourism, but also for nature. So Costa Rica is connected with Galapagos, Cocos Island and Galapagos, which is allows Costa Rica to be bigger in the waters than in the soils, in the grounds. We have limits with Nicaragua, Panama, also with Colombia by the sea, Ecuador, and some part of the Caribbean and Pacific Ocean, as I mentioned. We have 7 provinces, and we almost 5 million people. It's a very small country. Let's say Turkey is 16 times bigger than Costa Rica. So the interesting thing is, even the Costa Rica is a very small country, only 51 square kilometers, let's say it's more or less the size of Belgium. We have 50 microclimes, different microclimes in our country. So every 1,000 square meters, we have a different climate. That makes Costa Rica very attractive for not only scientific community, but also for those who want to be in touch with nature and conservation, and also to relax and have a good weather. We are 10 times more maritime zone than the continental land, as I mentioned. We are bigger on the oceans that in the ground and the continental land. And we have more than 100 volcanoes in this tiny country. And some of them are releasing energy. They are active. So with the special technology that we are under study, we want to take the energy from the ground, from the planet Earth vital system, and to convert in energy. It is important to say here that Costa Rica does not allow the open minery. We don't explode petrol or gas. Costa Rica has banned the exploitation because we want to protect the country. We want to protect the land, we want to protect the animals, the biological systems. And for that reason, if we explode the soil, we will destroy all the biosystems that now are active in Costa Rica. We have this, in this little small country, we have the 6.5 of the biodiversity of the world. We have more butterflies than, let's say, like Africa. And one of the other landmarks of Costa Rica is that Costa Rica has no army since 1948, 72 years ago. We abolished the army. Even Costa Rica is a small country without all these special conditions. It is classified in one of the 5 world cleanest countries in the world in 2019. And 2 times awarded the happiest country in the world, which is an index, 2 different indexes that explore how the people feels in the country, in the national Costa Rican people, how they feel. Also, we had 3 natural heritage from 2 cultural heritage sites, 3 biosphere reserves, and we have a decarbonization plan in order to have a zero or carbon neutrality in our economy by the 2050. It's the safest countries in Latin America with Uruguay, and the most democratic state in Latin America with more than 100 years of continued democracy and elections. In economic terms, we have 8.2 GDP, and which is coming for 40% from export services and 20% of the total of the employment. It's important to say that Costa Rica, jump from the first wave of production, according to Alvin Toffler, which is a futurist and an analytic person for the 60s. And the first wave was the agriculture. Countries become more productive, and they found economies consolidation as a civilization from the agriculture as a first wave. The second wave came from the industrialization revolution in Europe. And the third wave is the economy of knowledge. So Costa Rica jumped from the first from agriculture to the third stage, because Costa Rica is not considered itself as an industrial country. So that's why for Costa Rica it's very important to preserve what we call economy with no chimneys, no contaminations. So that's what we protect as much as possible our country to be self-sufficient, but base it in national resources, and not to explode minery or other sources of, let's say, energies like oil, petrol oil or gas, and when we use water, geothermal energy, and eolic energy, and solar panel systems. This is more or less one of the pillars of our internal affairs and also our foreign affairs policy. And the green spectrum in the internal domestic priority policies, Costa Rica has settled these 6 main pillars: rule of law, sustainable development, democracy, human rights, science and technology, and security and peace. Everything in Costa Rica is connected. We understand the sustainable development as a part of our democracy. And also our democracy is connected with human rights. There is no way we can be sustainable developed if we don't have science and technology, but also knowledge and rule of law. We have to base all in our rule of law in order to preserve the stability of the country, because it's, for us it's very important. And though all those aspects create domestic security and peace, because the country has no army, we have to rely on the rule of law and the human rights. And it's the only way that the country can sustain itself in an internal policy. On the other hand, in the blue spectrum, every corner of these 6 elements we have in the internal affairs are also projected to the world in the same aspect. For instance, democracy is reflected in defense and democracy, territorial integrity, and national sovereignty. And we only can defend our democracy and our territorial integrity by the promotion for 2 important other axes. One is the promotion of disarmament and national, regional, and global security. And the other one is strengthening the international law and development and effective multilateralism. Costa Rica, because has no army, must to rely on the international community and in multilateralism and the international law. That's why our promotion is very strong, and all the organisms and all institutions will promotion the respect of human rights and fundamental freedoms. And also to keep the promotion of peace. This peace is connected with the strength of the international law development, like is here. It's connected here, but also is connected with the promotion of disarmament. So if we have peace here, we can develop the promotion of sustainable development and representation in international environmental negotiations. So as you see, all these points are connected axes. We are moving around out of foreign policy. And every one of these projected to the international community is parallel and substantial pillar in the national domestic priorities policies. So that's what we call an holistic policy in Costa Rica. And then let me give you some cases about this. For instance, this year, the last year, 2021, For instance, Costa Rica was the leader in Geneva, United Nations, and a global recognition of the human rights to as an access to the healthy, clean, and sustainable environment. This is one of the most important achievements that we got because now sustainability, healthy, and a clean environment is a human rights recognized by Geneva's organizations. This is how we connect the development, sustainable development, with the protection of human rights. You see, we make this connection in a holistically way. For instance, we connect also our economy and promotion for sustainable also with the promotional of the democracy and territorial integrity. Other case which is important to mention is in the promotion of peace. We connected promotion of peace and human rights and disarmament in a way that Costa Rica has promoted two international conventions. One of those is the Ban on Nuclear Weapons Treaty, which has entered in force, and Costa Rica was the leader leading these initiatives to ban all the nuclear weapons in the planet. Also, we have another convention which we call ATT, which is Armed Trade Treaty, in which Costa Rica promotes that those countries we are using buying weapons or arms to attack the human rights, they will be confiscated and they will prohibit the sale of this weaponry. And there are many others. The energy matrix, for instance, is connected with different reforestation practices, what can allow Costa Rica to have a very renewable matrix, energetically speaking. Sustainability, then, we follow the transversal concept and we want to integrate. Sustainability for us is not only in the tourism, it's not only in the environment, it's also in the democracy, it's also in peace, it's also in the rule of law. So for us to have a society under sustainability is the connection of all these elements playing together. We cannot have sustainability if we break what the three main points that are the transversal axis. For instance, as you well know, sustainability is located here in the centers as an integrated approach. So there are three elements, or three keys to in the sustainability concept. One is social, respect for the individuals, equal opportunities for all, diversity, employee assistance, and human rights. Those are the elements to keep the spheres of social aspect to be sustainable. But at the same time, in economics, it's important that like the consistently profitable of growth and risk management and shareholder return. So the economy is important to also to give to the social axis stability. But these two elements are not work completely in harmony if we don't take care for the environment. So we need permission, license, compliances, biodiversity management, carbon management, and emissions. So those three axes together can make another quality lab in a way that social economics together bring more employment and training and development, a better local economy, and entrepreneurial, social, and community sponsor. Economic plus environmental, what is help us is to have efficiency in our use, our resources, efficiency in how we can manage the energy, and how we recycle all these elements in order that the economy be sustainable with the environment. And the connection to the social and environment, we have these elements like health and safety, climate change control, and crisis management and business continuity. So this is for Costa Rica, it's very important to keep sustainability in all that we try to do. It's a long road. We are not perfect, we are not in the top, but we are doing our best to try to apply this system of sustainability in everything we can do. So it's important because I've been looking for how many universities we have that maintain sustainability in all they do. If you are making up shoes, or you are constructing a house, or if you are making a book, every aspect in the productions should have this sustainability axis in order to make it more endurance and through the time, but also to give better life to the not only producers but also the consumers. Having this in mind, Costa Rica started the evolution of this idea, the tourism sustainability, and we will start here. The previous information was for you to have an idea what is the fundamental aspect that we take in account in order to develop this sustainable tourism. In Costa Rica, since the 70s, the government and our fathers had a clear idea and compromise with our society to protect the planet, to protect our lands. So since 71, 75, the first national parks were open or were declared, let's say, in our country. Nowadays, we have several numbers all over the country, and I can tell you now that the 25% of the country is protected by a special law. Is a national park, or is a natural reserve, or is a biological corridor, and then we protect them under the law. So you can visit as a tourist in certain areas. There are areas that are close to the public because they preserve very important biological corridors that cannot be, let's say, alterated. But there is other parts you can share and you can enjoy following special rules, not to make a big impact in all the ecosystem. This is very important. So with this plan of national parks, and there is another one which connected with us with this reforestation, because we suffer deforestation in the 80s, very several, and reviewing our environmental actions, because we have to check our behavior as a human beings and the impact that it has in this biological corridors. It's very important to create mitigation. Mitigation means how to make the impact low with some other actions that promote the conservation, and also how to manage this carbon dioxide, carbon CO2 emissions. This is the list of national parks we have in Costa Rica. As you see, it's several ones. There are more of them are volcanoes. There is also islands and especially places where most of the animals are concentrated, the biosphere. So you can make a screenshot and you can visit one by one, and you will see what beautiful places are, and also the conservation we have. Let's see one of the views of these parks. Let me see. Thank you. So let me continue with some achievement that Costa Rica has reached in the recent years. For us, defining ecotourism and sustainability as a tool for differentiation. Costa Rica has signed many international environmental laws, agreements, and all respect that we have to respect them. Although we occupy the only 0.01% of the surface of the earth, we protect the 31% of its territorial part in national systems and conservation areas, and privately owned reserves, and it has almost 6.5% of the world diversity, biodiversity. 50% of our tourists visit the national parks, and in average, they visit at least 2 national parks every time a tourist person visits Costa Rica. 60% they visit more than 2 parks and practice at least 1 adventure tourism or ecotourism activity in a privately owned reserve. So mostly the people stay more or visit more the 2 national parks. It is one of the 5 places in the world with greater longevity, blue zones, people who live more than 100 years old. And there is a wide private sector representation and decision-making, including the board of directors of the tourist board. Those achievements are very important for us, being a very small and tiny country, to project the country in a very specific way. But let's see how everything started. To restore the forest cover of Costa Rica, create policy tools to promote reforestation and avoid deforestation. As I mentioned, we have the national park from the 70s, but during the 80s, we didn't have a real clear idea where or how our development will take, what will be our future and what will be the matrix that we'll use, because knowing what we have to choose the path of industrialization. On the other hand, we have the sustainability path. So we choose the sustainability path. And we realized at that time that we were deforest a big quantity of the forests we had. So we started back again to try to recover. Nowadays, the 60% of the country has recuperated, has achieved good policies to rescue our forests and all ecological corridors. To achieve this endeavor, Costa Rica create what we call the payment for environmental services in the 80s. We call it PES. And this PES is very important because Costa Rica's success was driven by economics, but the combination of land deforestation with the introduction of the PES, which is paid of farmers to protect watersheds, conserve biodiversity, and mitigate carbon dioxide emission, that's why we succeed in this endeavor. We have learned that the pocket is the quickest way to get to the heart, according with ex-foreign ministry Costa Rica, who said, Costa Rica's Minister for Environmental and Energy acknowledged that people are more likely to care environmental issues provided with an income and trust behind the environmentally friendly behaviors, and also with monetary incentives. So to achieve these monetary incentives, in the 90s, we create 3.5% tax on the full fuel to pay the environmental services of private conservation areas, the world's first carbon tax. So Costa Rica achieved in the 90s the first carbon tax applied for the use of the fossil fuels energies in the cars. So with that money, with that income, we paid the services. That's why we call payment of the environmental services. How that worked? Well, PSS came pays at the average of $64 per hectare for basic forest protection. According with we have a fund and all these taxes goes, and is applied this fund to pay to the private sector, those who protect the forest and environment, a payment for sustain this protection. So up to date, 26% of the national park, which belongs to the country, to the government, or all Costa Rican people, is what we call the public sector protected. But in the private way, is also 26% is protected by the private families or small companies who have, let's say, a small house or have a small hotel, but is protecting all around of this business. So with this initiative, we revert the deforestation and create more value on the forest. And then in 1995, we create a certificate of sustainable tourism. This is a very important element. These two elements, the payment on environmental services and the CSTs certificates, were the two main wheels to push the barriers to have a sustainable tourism. So how this system or model have been developed during the years? Let's see an historical background in our tourist model. The models of tourism are basically divided in two. One is the tourism model based on demand, and the other one is the tourism based on supply. For instance, demand is that tourism which is developed under the large investment, a lot of money, but also is very intensive in the use of the sources, of the elements, of the water, of the energy, and transportation, because the investment are very big and they are very intensive in use of the sources they need to develop. But also for the investors have a very quick return. So the idea is to make a large investment, put all the effort and the intensive use of the resources, and in order to obtain a very quick return on investment. That kind of model, what create is a low spill over in the society, because it's more concentrated in specific places, and it's designed to fulfill the demand for those who are really want to have what they want as they were at home. So if you like to watch TV, or you like to play bowling, or you like to fishing or something like that, this kind of activities that you normally like to use at home, or dinners or theaters, entertainment, are all concentrated in one point. So everything is in one point, everything is in one place, and then that's why there is very low spillover in the social environment. They don't have much contact with the people in the towns and the village around this area. Of course, in that case, the destination is designed. It's designed for the people want to entertain, to have fun. I like to have a dinner, but looking at the sea. I like to play tennis, but in the beach. That's why this destination is not only designed, but also is supported by icons. Let's see, there is a central idea which is concentrated, like for instance, Las Vegas. Las Vegas is one of these places where it's full of casinos, and the entertainment is the core of destination as being designed. On the other hand, we have supply model, which is based in a small investment, and because it's a small investment, requires a limited use of energy and resources, which make lower the impact in the nature and sources of energy. Opposite that, the quick return you have in a big investments, with slow return is the way that these investments are very common. That's why these small investments normally are made for families or small groups dedicated to preserve the environment. The spillover of this supply model is bigger than the other demand model, because it's important to connect with all the environmental, but also with the people who lives in the locations where these tourism facilities are established. And then that's why there is more connection with the different levels of society. There are more connection, and the products are not concentrated as the same products you're expecting when you go to these places. The products are designed, depends what the person wants to do, what the person wants to be surprised, how, and that permits that connection with this spillover with the different aspect of the society. For instance, we produce rural tourism. For instance, people who want to go to the family, they have goats or they have cows, and they want to know how to milk them, or how to make cheese, or how to have the cultivation of the land with different products or let's say plants or different other ingredients to cook that is only natural in this area. So this kind of tourism is more open to be integrated with the social environment. And there is it's not referred as icons specifically. The difference is there is innovation in the image. The image can change, depends what you're looking at. So this is two different models, and of course the sustainability model more applied in Costa Rica is the supply model. 90%, 95% of the companies in Costa Rica are small investments, are family investments. There are small and medium enterprises. The rest, the facilities are 8% less are big investments, large investments, big hotels chains, but it is much, much less. And this tourist model as you see, let me try to help you to interpret this image. We have at the left the tourist person who we call dependent, and at the right side we have the adventurer. The dependent is the one who he wants the destination we adapted what he wants. I want all I have at home, but in this place. And mostly of this kind of tourism is a massive tourism. On the other hand, the adventurer is the one who prefers to be surprised. He doesn't. They don't want to have the same life he's having at home. He wants another philosophy to enjoy. He wants to enjoy more and new things. Not the same thing to watch TV or go to swim and a swimming pool, or no, they want to adventure. Well, as I mentioned, I want to see how you raise your horses in a village, or let's get into the trees to collect avocados, or let's fishing in the sea, diving. This kind of adventure profile is the tourist person, what we define as an adventurer. And this kind of is more, the tourist person is more connected with the destination, is more close to the ecotourism. So we have ecotourism at right side, and we have mass tourism at the left side. Costa Rica wants to be in the middle, but a little bit slightly more to the right hand side, which is the light blue line. You see, there is red, brown, or light brown, blue, 2 lines blue, the light blue, and the green. We are in this area, mostly. So how we developed this tourist model in Costa Rica, how we consolidate that kind of the tourism, sustainable tourism. And there is something that we developed by little. This is something that you cannot wake up tomorrow and say, I want a model, sustainable model tomorrow. No, this is something that you have to construct, because it's not only a business model, it's also a way of living, and it's also a behavioring way that the person and the tourist, little by little, have been recognizing in this kind of model. For instance, in the years in 1984, yes, Costa Rica discovered what we call the stage of soft nature. Soft nature is not yet ecotourism, and it's not just sustainable. That's why it took us all these 3 decades to realize that what will be the model that we want to achieve, but not only achieve to be competitive in the world, to call those who want to have another kind of tourism, different that massive tourism. So during this decade, the important here is, at that time, Costa Rica had the national parks, had the rivers, the beaches, the animals, the rivers, all these beautiful things. But we will call this a stage like a travel to see. There were more attractions, tourist attractions, only to see. Why? Because at that time, our tourism was very poor in terms of infrastructure. So we have many places to see, but not much things to do. That was the difference. So took us all these years from 84 to 1990, yes, 1990, to jump to the idea or the concept of ecotourism. And how we did that? Okay, well, we jumped from travel to see and travel to do. And if you want to do something, not only to see, but you want to do something, you need the infrastructure. And for create that infrastructure, the private sector started to asking to the government how to develop this area. It was not a policy imposed for the government. It was the private sector called to the government and said, we need incentives to have the infrastructure to make the jump from to see to do. And that's why we create a special law that we call it a law of incentive for tourism, to cut taxes and give some guarantees and loans to financial support to the small and family companies to start creating infrastructure as a rafting, canopies, bird watching, and different paths to get very close to the volcanoes, or boats, small boats to navigate on the sea, or go to sport fishing. And we developed from 1990 until 2000. But also we realized here in this area, okay, there was during this decade, we give a big jump in the industry, but also we start detecting that the impacts and the environmental start to being produced by these new investments. So to control the impact that this new way to make tourism will not kill the sustainable industry, so we change for travel to do to travel to belong, which is completely another system. And this sustainability systems, what is important to be sustainable is the compensation. Let's say how to realize that what you're doing as a tourist is connected with your soul, with your you as a human being, but also to the society and your own family. So when you travel in sustainability, you are not only making ecotourism. Ecotourism is make tourism and an environment, but sustainable tourism is something that you do, but you protect. And you protect because you care, because it's important not only for you and your family, but also for the planet. So you now belongs to the philosophy to save the planet. And at that time was when we create the tourist CSTs, the Certificate for Sustainable Tourism, and that was a private initiative adopted by the government. It's not a position or regulations from the government. It is the private sector asked to the government to work together. And of course, we, as a government, we jump in immediately. So next step now we are developing now in Costa Rica from 2012 to 2020 is what we call experiment society. And the philosophy of this last stage is that the tourist is not only belongs to the philosophy, but also experiment as a big part of our society, to adapt our values to conserve the planet, our values of democracy, our values to human rights, our values of the peace and sustainability, and our values as a rule of law. So this is another experience that we now is helping to the tourists to be more connected. It's more connected with wellness, it's more connected with gastronomy and organic yoga or philosophy, and enjoy the environment. I think I'm running out of time because I have much things to say, but innovation, differentiation, positioning, and the best prospect are the strategies we use to make our tourist model management. That way, I would say that we choose these 4 elements, can be more, but we choose best practice. What it means We want to prospect the type of tourists we want. We don't want mass tourism. We don't want all the people coming. We want to be sustainable tourism focused in quality. We want people who are connected with this philosophy. We don't want people who, there is massive tourism. As you see here in this spectrum, we have a 60% on the green side, this tourism that we consider focus in quality, and a small other quantity, like 20%, goes to the let's say 8% of the big hotels that everything is massive. So the philosophy in Costa Rica is not extreme. It's not extreme in one side, but we prefer to have more quality and then the volume. Innovation is the manner in which we want to use tourist patrimony. So we also choose this green part, the greater disposal, variety product, different products, more connected with the society, than the greater concentration with just one principal product. I go to this hotel because I only want to fishing, but I prefer to where the variety of products are more, there are more variety of those. Why? Because the spillover is bigger, and there are more people who have benefit from the tourism. Differentiation is the recognition and what we seek based on experience. Again, the green part of the spectrum is small and medium-sized local business, because we give more developed and social and economic advantage for our small people, our small families. You know, a big change, big change of hotels or companies that there are no connection with whatsoever with the company. They are sitting somewhere. In this case, the owner of the hotel, the man who drives your golf little small cab, is someone who is connected with you. And also, we still have large international companies. Of course, we have 5 stars hotel. Even there is one from the very soon will be established. It's a 7. They call 7 stars, well, because it's a big hotel. But this is only 5% of the hotels in the country. And then positioning. Positioning is the image of the destination. We prefer then the other side of the spectrum. In the green part, we would like to have sustainability and nature instead of fun and entertainment. So this is, as you see in this line here, Costa Rica is 60 or 70% in the green sustainable tourism, and only, let's say, 20-25% in the massive tourism by design. And what proves that model is that we are not increasing the numbers of the tourism coming to Costa Rica. They are increasing the nights to stay. So when we were in the soft nature stage, the tourist only used to overnight 3 nights because there was only 4 to see. But once they were incorporated in the system as ecotourism and more facilities, more connection with the nature, they jump from 3 nights to 7 nights. With sustainable and a philosophy to belong, there are 9 and 10 nights, and now we are reaching 13 nights per tourist. So what we like is you stay longer and you come back every year or 2 times in a year, but because Costa Rica have no winter, Costa Rica only have 2 seasons, a dry season and rainy season, and that you can visit the country whenever you want. It's not a problem for the winter. So the CTS was the very important element to make this differentiation, as you see how we can jump from ecotourism to sustainable tourism. And there are some key messages about the CSTs. For instance, these tools to support the national policies. It was born in the private sector, as I mentioned already, since 1997. It's a free certification. It's a voluntary application. Every 2 years is reviewed if you are your business is complying specification that you need to have in order to have this in the corner permission, which is sustainable tourism. Companies can reduce some level of loss, and also they receive evaluations from Ministry of Tourism only when they want to be reviewed. Represent the 31% now of the all declared tourism companies is recognized by the World Trade Organization as a new way to make tourism. So let's see a small video to see how this works. The video you will see is 10 years old, but since 20 years ago, this CSTs was developed. But now we will see how this was happening when the world, and especially the big chains, tourist chains, realized that Costa Rica was working in these certificates, and they make a small video to promote this. Okay.
Welcome back to Save My Planet. We're here in Costa Rica, a country that's helped pioneer sustainable tourism and set the standard that a lot of other places are trying to follow. I'm here with Maria Ravella, who is the Director of Marketing of the Costa Rican Tourist Board, or the ICT. And Costa Rica has been an incredible leader for sustainable tourism for countries all over the world. Tell me, Maria, how did this get started?
10 years ago, the Costa Rica Tourist Board created a program called Certification for Sustainable Tourism. We call it CST. That is a program that really tried to measure the level of sustainability of the different properties. It follows very, very strict criteria, not only hotels, but for tour operators.
How do you rate the hotel?
We have 4 pillars that we measure with different criteria. One of the pillars has to do with the way the hotel was built. The other one is energy consumption, waste management. The other one has to do with clients, how the clients are involved with the program. And the fourth is socioeconomic, all the things that have to do with the communities. So we really think that these properties and these hotels that have the CSP are like a little sun in every community that really brighten up the whole community around them.
I'm here with Jim Damalis, who's the General Manager of Green Teak Hotels. And tell me, Jim, what's Green Teak?
Green Teak Hotels is a group of properties that focus on sustainable hospitality. So in the group is Sicamano, Villa Blanca, and Agredoso.
So tell me, what kind of sustainable programs are you incorporating into the hotels?
In each of our locations, we have a program. For instance, in Villa Blanca, we're working with India, reaching out and sharing the information with our guests about the impact on loss and cloudforest. Sicamano, which is in the Central Pacific. We've got a wildlife refuge, which is adjacent to the hotel, where we have full-time biologists that help us with the research and also share that information with our guests.
I'm here with Hazel Blanco, who's the Sustainability Manager over at Swiss Travel. And we've been talking a lot about the CST certification for hotels, but I understand here we're talking about a travel and transportation service, right?
That's correct.
Obviously, transportation has its environmental costs. What are you doing to minimize that?
Well, we start with measuring our consumption of gas in order to calculate our emissions, and then we can compensate and offset this footprint. So right now there's a reforestation program. At the moment we plant around 3,000 trees per year. That's the amount that they have to plant every year in order to offset their emissions. And also very small things like checking itineraries. You know, you can reduce your emissions just by creating a very good route with the cars.
That's really important, is every little thing we do. There's so many of us that it becomes really a big change and really helps save the planet. So once you visit the property and assess the situation, is there like some kind of rating system for these hotels?
Yes, we have a rating system from 1 is the lowest level, is 1 leaf,
Oh, it's by leaves, not
Yes.
stars. I like that.
and 5 leaves is the highest score.
Here, we try to make the most impact possible. We use biodegradable soap. We do all kinds of environmentally friendly practices. And this is a very good example of how you can develop a hotel business, applying the best practices to keep conservancy for the area.
Our idea was we wanted to give something back. I mean, you can have a great vacation in Costa Rica. You can benefit the community through our CSD programs because the idea is to interact with the community. You can enjoy the enthusiasm of our employees that are all from Costa Rica who are proud to work here and work with us. At the same time, you leave something back when you travel to the United States that's positive for the area.
Costa Rica and the CSD program demonstrate how tourism can be both sustainable and profitable. And what a great way to help save the planet. I'm Stephen Brooks. See you next time.
Okay, just a question. I don't want to take much time that was offered to me. If I can continue, or we can stop and exchange some ideas or impressions or questions. Or
Excellency, I don't know how much time you need or how many slides you have. We can use the time. When we finish, we might have the time for questions and answers as well. So,
okay, the rest is more or less how the CSTs evaluate that already you saw in a video. This video is 10 years old, but now that some things are improved. Not only in the fleet of cars now that are solar or solar cars or more with liquid gas, but also now all the appliance system has been reduced to 2 areas. One is called the premium companies, and the other ones are just the certificate companies. And they have an exam every year, and they are depends if you are a basic company recognized by the CSTs. You have some discounts in magazines and Congress and reunions that so many people and entrepreneurs come from all over the world to see it. And the elite is those who are being financed by some programs. And also the certification has been connected with the GSTC, which is an international most important certificate for sustainability. And they have been a connection in between them. And so all the companies who are CSTs are also recognized by GSTC all over the world. And more or less, those are the 4 most important cycle ways to how this evaluation takes place. The evaluation in a physical, biological, and external client, a social, economical, and environmental impact, and also the service that you provide. And then you analyze the physical, biological sphere, let's say the impact, but biological policies of environmental conservation, services and management sphere is what aspect related to the company system. External client sphere, which is actions taken by management to invite the client to participate in implementation of company sustainable policies are evaluated. And have a special, we want every tourist take best practices to home and spread out the world. As you see in the last video, there was a young lady putting seeds on the ground to help us to have better forest and to reforest is part of the tourism. You will not go there only to play tennis or go there to have a drink in a swimming pool. You also have the programs that you can collaborate with not only with the society, but also an environment. So when you return to home, you are satisfied because you enjoyed your trip, but you save the planet and you help people who needs the money to create a more sustainable society, a most fair society. And that's what we call social economical spheres. We want every company to walk the walk. Everyone is connected with evaluating, analyzing, for example, and human resources identification of economic benefits. This percentage are evaluated in different ways. All of this CST, how we developed in case that someone is interested to create a pilot program here in Turkey or in a special location, because I think I'm visiting some municipalities and not in the biggest areas of the impact of tourism, but a small village that I think we can create some projects. And I would like to share, and our Ministry of Tourism is also willing to share our experience for those who want to be more interested or want to know how to create, because I know in Turkey there is sustainable tourism in some way. It's different, but we can collaborate together to see how we have developed our model, and we can share with the companies, even with the government, local governments, how to do, and the universities, of course. So benefits: access to information, environmental friendly technologies, easy obtain a country brand, exemption according with 11 international and national fairs, technological and logistical support and participation in national and international fairs, publication in magazine and guidelines on television, CST event award, invitation to the ICT is the Institute of Costa Rican Tourism, events to share and discuss the scope of these certificates, the priority in the training programs on social, cultural, and environmental issues, mobilization press trip with priority to CST's company. Those are one of the benefits that the companies who are under this program in Costa Rica, they receive. And the final considerations is Costa Rica has been different type of tourism over the years. Decisions were made to help the state of on the course of the maintaining leadership. Innovation and competitiveness have been the key to maintain the leadership. Tourist activities has increased, specialized, increasingly personalized, and increasingly appealing to the senses of the generator of differentiation in order to influence emotion and feelings. Sustainable tourism should be seen as a way of being, not a way to doing, and should be adopted as a way of life. This is very important. Costa Rica sustainable tourism has gone through stages that have made its evolution constant. It is constant long-term process, as I mentioned, and brings the great positive impact for the planning to the daily administrative and operational activities. For small hotels, certification works as an important guarantee of the chains of suppliers and doing the right thing to impact less and also help to the companies profitable. Well, thank you very much. This is a consideration. Here you see the expenditure is $1,300 per person during the stay of more or less 13.1 day or nights. There is a challenge, the dispersion throughout destination. 40% already come to Costa Rica, and they did 7 times in an average in the repeat visitations. Also feel the spirit of Costa Rica people, explore the diversity, natural beauty, share Costa Rican culture, gastronomy, and way of living, learn about Costa Rica, hopes, dreams, concerns, discover wildlife, and travel across the country. Finally, certification are okay, but sustainability must be a matter of common sense issue. Thank you very much for your attention, your time. I think I know this is a little bit heavy presentation with a lot of information, but my idea was to give as much as possible all the concept in order to be you understand or you be aware that what we're doing in Costa Rica and why. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, His Excellency, for this very interesting and informative presentation. I took a few notes for myself just to share as a result, emphasizing the 3 pillars of sustainability as transversal concept, especially emphasizing human rights and promotion of peace as being two of the society pillars, which these are the days that we need more. And your tourism model comparing demand and supply as being the large and small investment, quick return and slow return. And unfortunately in tourism field, it is encouraged most of the time, the quick return, which creates the mass tourism that we don't want it. Again, your tourism evaluation coming from the soft nature to ecotourism to sustainability and up to from 3 nights to 7 nights and 10 nights. These are really great achievements, very interesting. And lastly, this certification being the voluntary. And I will just close that summary, your thing. We want everything goes to the economy. So you said that we want every company to walk the talk. Let's hope it this way. Thank you very much again. If there are some questions from the participants, yes, please use the reaction so we can see you. Professor Güvenir. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for this very interesting and motivating talk. My question would be about the university in Costa Rica. Could you comment on the role of Costa Rican universities towards these achievements on sustainability? How did the universities contribute to the efforts for sustainability?
Thank you very much for your question. Very important question. To obtain the certificates, there is a commission. The name is National Commission for Sustainable Certification. This commission has different sectors represented in this commission. One is the Ministry of Tourism, of course, and the Ministry of Culture, because culture is one of the pillars that we also pushing forward to connect with people. And also there is scientist groups. There are 2 centers for investigation for biodiversity, and we have also private sectors. The 3 or 4 members of the private sector. Those who are in the business, those who know how to face the idea as a business, because this is a business, it's an industry. And also there is the academy, and there is the INCAE, which is one of the sister branch of Harvard University in Costa Rica, and they have small facilities in Costa Rica for administration. You can obtain an MBA in management and business, and they also are part of this board. And also the most prestigious university in Costa Rica, which is Universidad de Costa Rica. They all together assess from time to time, not only the certificates at itself, the qualities you need to know, but also the actuality, innovation, and the impact in a country. So these studies are implemented with or are participating also students from the universities in some projects in different areas. So if you want to, sustainability is becoming more and more one of the lectures in our universities, because our idea is to, as we all know, the planet is, every day we have more and more people on the planet, and the resources are being limited. Sustainability is about this. It's about everyone has the opportunity to have water, to have soil, to have a good place to live, and also the guarantees to enjoy that. So the studies are implemented in many different areas. So it's not only about scientific way, but also is the cultural way, as a Minister of Culture is involved, the business as a private sector, And also the university provide not only the management, but also analyze the impact and the concept of sustainability. So two big universities are involved in this project.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Thornton, I think you want to ask a question. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Excellency. What a wonderful country. I have two questions, and the first is as a tourist, and the second is about how Costa Rica and Turkey might share ideas. So as a tourist, my first question is, looking at the pictures, how lush it is, and waterfalls and so on, are there strong provisions for disabled tourists, for tourists with mobility problems? How are they supported in Costa Rica? And then my second question, as ambassador, do you know of any projects that are taking place where Costa Rica and Turkey might share ideas and collaborate and so on?
Thank you for the question, very important questions. Well, the mobility and tourism depends in relating Turkey and Costa Rica. We used to always prevent that every country has their own, let's say, history, their own qualities, their own system and way of living. So it's difficult to say, okay, this is the solution, or you have to do this and this. Every country has different history. The values are, we can share values, but the way we develop that or we achieve that values are in different ways. So Costa Rica is a very small country, and so you can cross the country coast to coast in less than 1 hour. Even that we have been taking care for the infrastructure, because we don't want a highway from one coast to the other, and then you can cross it in 20 minutes, because you lose this identity or that values we want to preserve. So you probably, if someone in Costa Rica tell you the next volcano is 3 hours driving, so you can imagine, well, probably it's 300 kilometers, and maybe it's not. It's probably less than 100 kilometers, but the infrastructure is not made to have these big city or capitals or metropolis that you can move on. We try to the tourists enjoyed driving and stopping and talk with the people and see animals, getting to small places or restaurants who are hiding in the mountains, this kind of thing. So that's why we have a motto, which is Pura Vida, which is our international motto, which is a concept of life. And people love to, the only way to understand it is if you visit Costa Rica. If you visit Costa Rica, so you can feel it there. So I think in Turkey, well, so far, I had conversations I try to approach an academic way first. I'm an academic as well. So for me, I have projects with Ankara University, with Manchester University, in areas like peace and social development. But I found here in Wilkin, for instance, there is a room for tourism and sustainable tourism development. So I spoke also with municipalities. They find the attractive idea, but you need a kind of political will to create a program. And I think that's why we choose the academy first, because we want to spread the idea and see how our model can be in some way adapted to the reality of the different countries. We did this in many other countries, and depends if you are in the tropics. We are more similar environment or biological similarities. Here, the good thing is in Turkey, Turkey has oceans around, seas around. There are mountains. They have for the Black Sea, there are some forests. So there is some, let's say, some capacity that we see that Turkey can develop it further in this area. I know there are projects, but I try to little by little to be more involved, because some changes, Turkey have been changing some policies lately, which we are very happy. They're more connected with environmental. This is a big struggle in all over the world. In a very developed country as Turkey is, of course, takes time to analyze what is the best way to do this. But I think in the academy world, the academy different universities and professors can help to create with us or join with us in different projects. And we are more than willing to share what is can be necessary. We can sign MOUs, or we can exchange professors, or we can bring or we can make a webinar for those who are really into the business, and then we can talk really how the things and the problems, because always there are problems to achieve it. But of course, we are promoting as you see, the foreign policy of Costa Rica is to promote environmental sustainability. It's part of our task here to promote peace, to promote sustainability and social cohesion. And that is important for us. We like to talk with the students and the universities, explaining why do our value, how, and we don't pretend that everybody copy or adapt our model, but we can share ideas, and I think it's always a benefit for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I will use my chance to ask a question, actually, His Excellency. One of our talks, you mentioned that comparing Turkey and Costa Rica, we may not see those high buildings, as we call it, the mass tourism. You said that your buildings are very low. So I wonder how you manage this. Is it the government legal force, or is it the private sector that you mentioned? They are very powerful, as I understand. How do you manage having those low buildings for tourism?
Well, every time when you want to start a business in Costa Rica, especially in tourism, you need to present an impact study. And there are areas in the country that is not allowed to build more than 2 floors hotels. That's why you saw in the last video. These small houses and small facilities, they're more like tents adapted for the areas. Those areas have a special impact rules. If you go to certain other areas, there is a managed. They manage another way. Because we want to share the. I mentioned we have 60–70% of the supply model, and the rest is the demand model. So we share both ideas. The thing is, you have to select where the impact will be good or bad, or harm the environmental area. Because if you have for instance, we have a national park, which you only can find some kind of the toads or birds. There is only in that area, and they're protected because they're about to disappear if you don't take care of them. Of course, you will not allow to have a special industry there, because it can affect the system. So there is another areas, for instance, where we have coffee plantations, or we have corn plantations. The impact is different. So we can talk there about other restrictions. So that depends what is the planning management that you are, let's say, achieving with the tourist project. And it's the same for when you build a house or when you build a building. a little bit higher in the center of the city. Of course, the restrictions are different. But we try we have the decarbonation plan in order to, if we're allowed to have bigger buildings, but we need to reduce the impact of the traffic of the public transportation and everyday, basic life of the people who go to the work or supermarket or the schools. So there is something that is well considered, the impact plan. That's what we call. Everything has to have an impact plan. Actually, we have some legal frames that can be applied, and then the Ministry of Environment can provide you what are the rules, depends what the project you have. More or less we control like that, because we're very small. We're a very small country. We have to be very careful with what the space and room we use to develop our economy.
Thank you. Thank you. I wonder if any of the participants would like to add anything or ask questions. It is getting late. Thank you very much again, His Excellency. Nice to see you again. I hope in the future we will have you again, maybe for another topic. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, everyone, for attention. That was an honor for me to address this resemblance of what we're doing in Costa Rica. And I remind our offer to collaborate with corporations and exchange of ideas in different project, academic way or in any other pilot projects. Thank you again. It's an honor for me always to address myself to this very important audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to end the meeting. Don't worry. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, I just give you the last while we leave. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again, His Excellency. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Bye-bye.